Did I say it right?
That was really cheesy.
Oh, I'll do it again then. Hang on.
Okay, he grew up at Palmy. Basically, he surfed where we surfed.
Okay,
I think he joined Palmy Born Riders. He went to PBC, the school that Mick Fanning went to in Parko.
So that's how we're introing this Coach's Eye. Apparently the first one I did was a bit cheesy. So whatever Clay just said, we're looking at Oni Anwar. Before we jump into this week's video, I just want to tell you about our amazing new app that is now available for you in the App Store. It's completely free to join. You'll join a community of a group of amazing surfers, all following the OMBE method and helping each and every single one of, everyone's helping each other become a better surfer. Let me just give you a quick view of it. So this is the app. You go in there, you got all these feeds from lots of different people posting up their own videos. They get access to a whole bunch of free content. We've got a search function. So for example, if you go into the search and you type in pop-up, then you'll get access to all this amazing content. It's absolutely phenomenal. All you got to do is head over to ombe.co, scroll to the bottom of the page and then download the app. That's available on Apple and Android. And as I say, it's completely free to join and you'll get access to not only Coach's Eyes, but a whole bunch of other amazing content as well. So anyway, let's jump into today's Coach's Eye in the video. Why do we want to look at Oni Anwar? I mean, he's surfing.
So Coach's Eye is all about copy and paste.
Yep.
We want to watch someone do something and try to steal what he's got and put into your own surfing.
Yeah.
All right. So I always think of mixed martial arts, like kickboxers would maybe watch boxers and get something.
Yeah.
And guys that fight on the ground and so on. It's just like a mixed martial art. So surfing should be the same. We should look at Oni's small wave surfing prowess and what can we take away from that to make us surf a little bit better in smaller waves.
Yeah. Cool. So let's bring up the iPad.
All right. So first of all, have a little look-see. Boom. So light. Like the speed generation and the height on the airs and stuff, it's insane. Even on the backhand, nose to the beach, bang.
Now, okay, so I know that for some of you watching, you might go, wow, these aren't small waves. But that first wave, for example, where it went towards the end, that's the kind of place where, as an intermediate surfer, I would normally find myself sinking. I'd find that I wouldn't be able to do anything. But Oni here is flicking the board around all over the place. He's doing turns, the kind of stuff that I wouldn't think that I'd be able to do when the wave gets slightly smaller. So, like there, for example, I mean, that's what, waist high?
Yep.
Towards the end. I know the takeoff's slightly bigger.
All right, so can you see how hard he paddles?
Mm.
All right, so he's feeling the wave. He's doing a lot of gliding in. Now, the great thing about Oni is...
He's doing a lot of looking there. I reckon there's somebody...
It was a split peak. He wasn't sure if the other guy was going left or right. So what he does do, look how he drops the knee. Mm-hmm. Okay, a lot of people at that stage, they kind of lock the legs to try to get themselves balanced. Mm. So Oni softens the legs, which is like loading a spring. So he's already got the springs loaded. He then goes down the wave, and look how low those knees are pointed. It's like a sprinter in a starting 100-meter sprints. Now, the hands come up, and watch this. We call this the cardboard slide. Boom. Do you see how it's a double hand lift? That. Yeah, it's like he's doing this little hop.
Yep.
So already he's loaded his springs, but he's light on his feet. Mm. And that lightness gives him so much speed.
Now, for anybody who's new to OMBE and you haven't heard the mention of cardboard slide before, that might have you might have gone, what, cardboard slide, what are you talking about? So that is a technique, and it's a training drill that we use here at OMBE that helps surfers be able to generate speed, whether that's for getting around a section, whether that's for doing a floater, all those kind of things there. And so cardboard slide is an amazing training tool, and I think that if you dive into the app, it's explained in more detail inside the app. So there's another good reason to head over to the app and download it.
Okay. So many people get this wrong. I'm going to zoom into it and show you something here. Okay. So Would you say that he's touching the water?
He's very close to it.
Yep. Okay, his pinky's...
I can almost see the reflection of his hand, actually.
Yes. Okay, so if I said to you, touch the water, a lot of people would misinterpret this because his hands are shoulder high. A lot of people, when they touch the water, they bend their back and they drop their hand almost ankle high.
Hang on a minute. You confuse me.
Okay, look at his shoulder line. Look at this. His hands are almost shoulder high.
Yeah.
Okay, which means he's still light. He's leaning over like an aeroplane.
Right.
Banking on a
Let me
turn.
bring you up full screen in a minute. So
okay, come over here.
I'm not going to say, can we actually demonstrate this?
Yes. Okay,
I don't know, he's short, so those sexy legs.
most people, when you say touch the water, they're going to do this.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That's what I thought you meant, but then I was a little bit confused.
Okay.
Looks a bit-
What Oni's done is he's got his hands shoulder high, and he's leaning over, and he's on his rail, and that pinky's touching the water.
Okay.
So what that means
So,
is,
so don't do this. I want to be more. I can't do it.
see
'cause
how
I
you
was-
fell that way?
Yeah, because I was getting
That's
my
what he's
toe-
doing.
Ah.
So that leaning over.
So that's getting on rail.
Correct.
So it's hard to do. So I don't know how many of you, while you're watching these coaches' eyes, you sit there and you play along and start doing all the different arm movements that Clay talks about every single week. Because I know that I'm sat here doing them. But if you want to, don't. If you're driving, don't do this. If you're driving, you shouldn't be watching YouTube.
So
to be
Ed,
honest.
this is really easy. I want you to jump from that spot to that spot.
From here to there.
Now, if you lightly got to touch the ground first,
So
you'll get on your toes easier.
okay. So if you had said to me to do it, what I would have done was this, and then that.
That's wrong.
That's wrong.
I want you
Okay.
to lean over so you activate your toes there and jump. That's what Oni's doing.
Okay. I actually felt more momentum as well.
Exactly. Now, stand on your board.
So stand on the board.
Just stand absolutely flat like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what most people do. They
Oh.
surf flat. They don't activate their
Let me
toes.
move this chair out of the way, guys.
So the
Wiggle it over my toe.
biggest problem, and then you know what most people do? They do a twist. So twist really hard and you swing your arms behind you and twist.
Like this.
The other way, because you're doing a bottom turn, and try to jump.
Oh, like this.
Yes. See how you flat?
I can't jump. I've
So what's
physically
gonna
lost-
happen? Your
and I've
weight-
also gone really heavy here.
So that means the nose lifts up and you stall and you lose speed on your bottom turn.
Yeah. So instead,
You want to be weightless. You want to be falling into that turn.
so like, it's
Exactly that.
it's actually hard to do. I suppose I want this one here up as a bit more as well, so more like the aeroplane.
Correct. And
Okay.
then lift up there.
Okay, guys. Well, hopefully you followed along. Obviously not if you're driving.
Okay, so let's
bring
go
the
back
iPad
to
back
that
up
full
again.
screen.
Whew.
I'm going to get out of
That's
that.
a bit of a different coach's eye. It's exciting, wasn't it? I'm really out of breath.
Okay, I'm going to clear that. Now, if you think of a bottom turn as lifting, because pretty much what you need to do is lift yourself up there. So you need an element of lighting, being light on your feet and unweighting. Okay? So let's see where, so he's leaning,
Yep.
he's loaded his springs, okay?
He's on his toes.
Tell me where the lift comes. See how
Oh, the
hands-
arms.
But also the back straightens.
Yeah.
So when you straighten your back, if you're on a trampoline and you bend your knees and you straighten your back, don't you spring up?
Hmm.
And if you lift your hands up, don't you spring up?
Yeah. Now, interestingly, actually, here, literally 2 hours ago, I was having a conversation with Gabe. So me and Gabe's another one of the amazing coaches here at ONBE. We went out, we surfed some really, really small waves this morning. And I was talking about it and saying that I really struggle because I feel like I'm really heavy. And Gabe was actually saying that he used to crouch down and he'd be, so I'm going to stand up again. This is very dynamic, this coach's eye. But let me bring up full screen. But Gabe was saying that when he was surfing small waves, he'd be down and he'd be like trying to paddle through the, stood on the board and then trying to paddle through the water. And then he showed me a video of him standing up and just going, like pushing his hips forwards. And you see the acceleration and he's
Well,
on a small wave. It's
You
crazy.
make yourself lighter by stacking and lifting yourself up.
Yeah. Anyway.
Right, so here's another interesting thing. Look at how the hands go up.
Like,
All right, so if you wanted to jump, don't you lift your hands up to make yourself lighter?
yeah.
So basically, everything about his surfing is make yourself light, light, light.
So a lot of upward movements.
Yeah. Okay. And then when he throws the tail, it's the same as the last episode we did with Baron where he puts the weight on that front foot. So all the weight's centered over there.
You can see him like...
That allows the tail to throw itself around easier.
Yeah.
A lot of people push too hard on the tail and the nose lifts, and then they can't throw the tail, or the fins will break free and they'll fall. By having your weight on the front foot, you can control the slide.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's really important. Interesting. Nose to the beach. Look at the speed. Look, he doesn't pump, he doesn't bounce, he just goes, compress the knees, point the knees where I want to go, point the coffee cup hand. There's the coffee cup. See that there? Pointing where he wants to go. So the coordination there.
For those of you, sorry, for those of you going, what are you talking about coffee? We don't drink coffee when we're out surfing. Coffee cup is another Ombi term, which is used to explain, like we passed a coffee. In order to turn, we passed a coffee. Again, go into the app. There'll be some more explanation on what the coffee cup is.
So the other thing is that Ernie's shoulders are front on.
Yep.
Okay, so by holding that cup of coffee in front of you,
Yeah.
it means that you're a front-on surfer. His knees are facing forwards. So imagine someone standing in a squat position like a crab, trying to run, or someone in a lunge position trying to run. Who's going to have the most amount of initial speed?
The one that's proper
Okay?
runner, not.
And have
not
you ever
crab.
tried to run like a crab? Seen how hard it is to run? So basically, in small waves, because Ernie is front on, his movements are way more dynamic and easier to do than someone surfing side on.
Yeah.
Lightness.
So I mean, look. I know that we normally look for one or two things, but there are. So
Look at this.
There are so many already. But one is being front on. Another one is being really light.
This is what we call the
Like
cardboard
lifting
slide.
up that leaning. Like you saw me do the demonstration over here, and that whole idea of leaning over rather than bending down to touch the water. There's so many little golden nuggets here.
So I'm seeing arms up. So it's shoulder high lifts. And then watch this. This is crazy. This is knees to the chest. All right, lands on the nose of the board. Notice that he's upside down. Like he's not standing on the board. The nose picks, it rotates around. I know he falls there, but he often lands these all the time. Okay, so
That's bonkers, right? Anyway, let's stop looking at the iPad.
in terms of copy and paste,
Oh, I've just said there's a whole bunch of stuff there.
one thing, you just let it, because most people go in the water and they concentrate on trying to fix everything.
Okay, my one thing then would be that arms up, making myself lighter. So if I was now about to go out and surf small waves, which we probably will be over the next few days because it looks like it's tiny out there, it's going to be, let's try and make myself light. I'm 6'1", I'm about 87 kilograms. I feel heavy when I'm on the board. I want to see if I can feel lighter. So it's going to be arms
So
up.
that's great for you and your level of surfing and where you're at.
Yeah, so that's my takeaway. But there's so many in this video.
For my takeaway are his knees pointing forward and the lunging that he does. He just loads the springs and he loads the springs and I feel like I got old man knees and I stand sideways and I don't bend the damn things.
I might have changed my mind actually.
So if I could have he's not a big guy, but he loads those springs so well. Like for me, I love those knees.
Could also
Insane.
It could also be the
One thing, one
no,
superpower you can steal.
No, I'm going to have two. I'm allowed to have two because I'm special.
As soon as you concentrate on too many things, it's like you
But mine would
overweight the scale and
But mine would also be that whole not bending the hips. So when we did the demonstration there before, and it was bending down to touch the water versus the leaning.
okay, so on the bottom turn getting
Don't do that.
weightless.
Yeah,
Rather than being flat.
yeah. That would
Cool.
be
All
my
right.
things as well. So what's been your biggest takeaway? Leave it in the comment section below. I just interrupted Clay. What were you going to say? Can't remember.
Love Only Surfing. He's a legend. And what a great guy.
And remember, go over to ombi.co or into the App Store and download the Ombi app and join us in the community there. We'll see you in the next edition of Coach's Eye.